My dive into the teen sex comedies from the more enlightened eras of cinema continues, and this one has a few familiar faces for us slasher fans. Sandy Johnson is here, who we all remember as the first naked victim of Michael Myers in the original Halloween. And Kirsten Baker is here, who you will recognize from Friday the 13th Part 2. Well, at least you'll recognize part of her. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at Gas Pump Girls from 1979. This one comes to us from writer-director Joel Bender. He didn't have much of a career, but he was one of the writers of one of my favorite pieces of sleazy violence, Roberta Findlay's Tenement. So yeah, big respect for that one. Let's see how he did with a sex comedy. We open at an old gas station, and business isn't going well on account of a new shiny gas station next door. And then we hop right over to graduation day, and a ne'er-do-well is sneaking around, and he's up to something back there. And when the graduating class starts to sing, we see what he was up to back there. But the girls don't seem to mind. In fact, one of them was pretty into it.
Hey, April, you getting dressed, or do you plan to stay naked permanently?
I didn't think it was so bad.
Oh, those were the two slasher girls I was mentioning earlier, by the way. That evening, Uncle Joe falls ill, and the doctor has some bad news.
What's wrong?
Oh, it's this damn crick in my neck. Been bothering me for days. Oh, you mean your husband?
That was a pretty good misdirect. His niece June wishes she could do something to help out, and then we get a musical number. What the hell, movie? And that song goes on for a full 3 minutes. The movie turns into a musical for a minute, and at the end of it, June has an idea. Fix up old Joe's place and then run it while he's recovering from his heart attack. That's nice of her. And it's not a bad business plan. But first the girls have to learn how to pump gas.
How do you use this thing? Oh, it's not hard. First you grab a hold of the nozzle like this. That turns it on. Right. Then you stretch it out. Can get pretty long.
Yeah, I'm sure they can remember that. Unfortunately, back in the 70s, gas stations also provided car maintenance and repair, and they don't know how to do that. But they do know some boys who do. It's a pretty hard job. The business starts to do pretty well, and then the bikers show up and cause trouble. June berates them and even convinces them to work for the gas station as its tow truck drivers. So I guess gas stations in the 70s also ran tow truck services. Just another example of how modern businesses have drastically reduced the services they provide to customers. These are the things you discover when you watch old movies. So the gas station now is completely up and running, but the competition from across the way, he doesn't want that to happen, so he sends over some thugs to scare the girls off. But they ain't helpless. But then again, Mr. Friendly from across the way ain't exactly friendly. He calls the gas supplier and uses his weight to cut the girls off from their supply. And so now the girls will engage in various schemes to get their tanks filled, but that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. Well, this movie is pretty much what you would expect it to be. Lots of beautiful people in various states of undress throughout its runtime. And yeah, they are beautiful. Most teen sex comedies revolve around, well, sex in one way or the other, and this one doesn't. Not really. Instead, it's more of a teen sexy comedy, and I appreciate that as a change of pace. I mean, sure, there is that one scene, but that's it, really. I mean, most of it is just sort of lighthearted fun, which is pretty cool and pretty fun. And actually, this movie as a, sexy comedy does also deliver on the comedy pretty well. There are a number of legitimately funny lines in this movie, which was a big surprise to me, actually.
Hi, cutie.
I ain't cute. I'm ugly. I know, my mother told me.
I think you're cute. I don't think you're ugly.
Calling my mother a liar?
I mean, don't get me wrong, this movie is stupid, so if stupid's not your thing, this ain't your thing. And I don't normally like stupid either. There's a fine line for me between stupid I can tolerate and stupid I can't tolerate, and this movie stays, for the most part, on the stupid I can tolerate side. So I like it a lot better than something like Hots, for example. And finally, and this is a weird like, but it's a like nonetheless, I really appreciate how bright and colorful this movie is. Too many teen sex comedies, well, aside from the ones that take place on a beach, of course, they take place at night or in dark house parties, and this doesn't really fit the lightheartedness that the movies are going for. But here, almost every scene is during the day. It's bright, it's colorful, it's fun. And this movie is sort of innocent in a way. Kind of wholesome. Kind of. For the 70s. It's 70s wholesome. But the movie's not perfect. Like a grease monkey up to some, monkey business in the backseat of his car, this movie has some shortcomings. Well, like I said, this movie's stupid, and if stupid ain't your thing, this ain't your thing. But aside from that, that musical number is really weird and doesn't fit with the movie, at all. I would love to know the story behind its inclusion. What were they thinking? My only real complaint here is there's a scene missing. At one point, the girls concoct a plan and steal some gas from the competition, and it seems to work. And then the very next scene, they're out of gas, and someone says, "Oh, that's not fair." But, how did that happen? This was so confusing to me, I rewound it, and I watched it again, trying to figure out what went wrong. But nothing went wrong. So either this was just some really bad writing, or perhaps some really poor editing. They cut out that scene by mistake. Or maybe they just didn't have enough money to film that scene. Either way, it was pretty confusing. But I don't know, I guess that's the kind of thing that happens when you pay close attention to movies like this. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't pay close attention to movies like this.